Hello, welcome back to the UDL farm. It's been a month since we last saw you. We kind of decided, since the seasons are 9-day seasons, split into 3-day periods per season, early spring, mid-spring, late spring. We're classing it as 1 month for that period. So it's been an interesting first month. We've managed to make some money, a little bit anyway. We spent quite a bit of time doing contracts. There isn't much we can actually do on our own farm, but after the first month we made a profit of £2,523, which doesn't sound that much, admittedly, but then we also decided that everyone on the farm should be paid. So we decided any monthly profit, 20% is paid out to Irish, Nighthawk and Millie. Myself won't get anything, mine will stay in the farm, and the farm will get 20% as well. So we are in the plus. We started £50,000 and we currently have 51,893. We have spent money on the money we've made from contracts and stuff, with fertiliser for different contracts, seed, as you can see here. We've had to buy a few bits to get us going. We've also managed to plough both our fields. And if you remember from the first video, both the fields are very large. And we've managed to plough both of them. It's easier to take you onto the map rather than walk all that way. So yes, field 18 and 15 have been fully ploughed, ready for seeding. And looking at the weather that's coming up, we are looking at a potential seeding period of today, tomorrow kind of time. But the big thing we've got to do today is cut the grass. Something we've been waiting for. It's taken it 3 days to grow long enough for us to cut, but we've been waiting for it to be long enough so then we can put it in a silage pit and hopefully make money that way. Give us quite a bit to do at the same time. So Irish and Nighthawk are going to start cutting the field, and if you look at the map, the field is quite a big field. So whilst they're cutting it, we are going to go to the shop and we're going to have to lease something to pick it up, as we have no other real means of doing so. So if we just start the engine, we need to take off the plough, as we've currently finished with that, and we're going to up to the shop to get what we need. So yeah, it's been an interesting time on the farm. At times it's been a bit difficult to find things for us all to do. You'll probably notice there's only 3 of us today. Some of the videos won't have all 4 of us, and we'll try and get some, well, as many as we can with all 4, but because we all work different shifts, it can be a little bit difficult. But we try and do what we can. But yeah, today there's 3 of us, which should make cutting the grass a little bit easier, since we know it is a very time-consuming job. We have managed to get some big contracts done as well. We managed to get a couple of fertilising contracts, even a sowing contract done. But once we actually paid for the seed, we actually made a £20 loss. But we have seed left over, which we'll use ourselves. So it's slowly getting there. It will always take time for us to make money, and we knew this would be a long-term objective. But we decided we had to pay wages, otherwise it wouldn't be fair. So obviously that will make things take a little bit longer, but so far working out. We're making money. That's the main thing. So here we are at the shop. And we need to buy a loading wagon. Well, we're not going to buy it. What we're going to do is lease it. Money wise and power of our tractor limits us massively on what we can do. So we're looking at the Xelon CFS 2501DO, the smallest, the most basic one that we've got. It holds 23,000 litres, requires 95 horsepower. Our tractor does 185. But this will hopefully pick the grass up for us and help us out. One day, hopefully, we'll own these things ourselves, but at the minute, this is all we can really do. So the lease cost is going to cost us £920 to start with, plus £966 per operating hour, and if it takes a whole day, it's an extra £460 on top. So we need to get it back today. It's probably going to be pushing it a little bit, but we need to get it back today to cut the cost down. So initially, it's going to cost us £2,346. Which is more, or just under a profit for last month. But as a long-term thing, this silage should make us some decent money, hopefully. And in theory, this will be every month or two we'll have to do this. But we'll see. There we go. So we're going to lease the vehicle now. And we can pick the vehicle up. And as we can see, it is just there. So we can now back up to it and take it back to the farm where hopefully the boys have started cutting the grass. And we can hopefully follow their pattern. And we can pick up some grass and put it in our silage pit. That's the plan anyway. We'll have to have a look at contracts later, but yeah, the big thing today is getting this grass done and getting it into a silage pit. Once that job is done, we'll then have a look at other contracts, but got to try and make our own farm sustainable as well, really. In other news, our chickens have had eggs. We have 1 box of eggs, which I think works out to be 1 litre. The price of eggs is high, but you can't. It's not worth selling them for what 1 box. I think it's over £1,000 for 1,000 litres. But 1 box is next to nothing. So we will have to wait until we get a few boxes, I think, really, to make it worth the fuel and the trip to sell them. Just going past our plough fields. We need to sort that path out at some point to make it a little bit better turning. Yeah, we haven't really spent money on anything other than what we need as a seed, fertiliser and things like that, and wages. Most of our money gets eaten up by a loan interest, and we need to look at reducing that loan when we start making some decent money. The minimum repayment is £5,000. The profit last month was £2,500, so we couldn't pay anything back last month. So, if we have a look at how they're doing, they've made a good start by the looks of it. I actually can't get into the field because there is a van in the way. So I'm just going to quickly jump out and move the van. And we can then hopefully get into the field and start picking up some grass. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Not too sure how long this is going to take us. But considering the size of the field, I would probably say a while. Alright, so where have they started? Out here by the looks of things. There is quite a lot of grass to do. We'll turn on the forage wagon and then lower the pickup, and then let's see how much we managed to get. So they're quite quick, them little grass cutters. They don't do a big wide spread, but they're good for speed, which I know isn't ideal with what we're doing. But it's a good start. Ideally, originally the plan was to have all 4 of us on them, but it's the time it takes to rent the forage harvester, the wagon, was the concern. So it's easier to have one person picking up the grass while two people are mowing. And this does hold a fair amount by the looks of things. I don't know how many litres we're going to get into a silage pit. Hopefully a decent amount. But yeah, this will probably become, while we decide what we're doing with this field, this will probably become a constant job. Unless we find a better way of doing it. Ideally, you'd have a grass cutter that can pick it up. But we don't have that luxury at this point. So this is the quickest and cheapest way of doing it. Like I said, one of our jobs coming up will be seeding. Temperature is getting to that point of being able to do that. We'll have to lease a seeder and try and get both fields seeded together. I think is probably the most economical way of doing it. So we're currently at 20%. Just try not to run anyone over as we're picking up the grass here. Well, we're slowly filling up. It's a long task, admittedly. But once we get a rhythm going, it should be okay. And this is only a small section of the field. There is a lot more field to go yet. So we're currently at 33%, 7,000 litres. And then we've also got to look at unloading it into the silo. We haven't really thought too much about making it push down into the silo. You normally have to push it down to try and get more in. This tractor doesn't weigh very much, so that may become an issue. We haven't really figured out what we're going to do to get round that at this point. Our biggest concern was just getting it in the silo. I don't think you have to compact it too much. I don't know if it makes much difference if it's not fully compacted, to be fair. But it's something we do have to think about and haven't quite figured out how we're going to deal with that currently. So this small section, the way it's looking, will take us to about 60–70% by the time we've collected it all. And this is only a tiny section. This tractor has definitely been a workhorse so far. It's done all the ploughing for the fields. We've used half a tank of fuel up in all the work it's been doing so far. But as it's our only tractor, it is to be expected. Hopefully one day we'll have some bigger and better tractors. It's just taken a little bit of time to get anything at this point. Right. We're at 54% so far. They're just finishing off that last bit for this section, and hopefully we can then follow them on the large section. Once they've finished this, we just need to wait for them to finish the section. Be a bit worried about running them over, as although they're quite agile, they're also very small and difficult to see when you're trying to turn and go round. They're quite nice little mowers though. Let them finish off this section, and then they can hopefully start doing the main section, and we'll follow them until we're full, and then we can unload. There we go. And that's this tiny section done. That is a very small percent of the field itself. This was why we was hoping we'd have all four of us on, to make it a bit quicker and easier, but obviously real life sometimes gets in the way of these things, but managed to get 3 of us on. So off they both go. So we're just going to do probably one more run of this, maybe 2, just to try and get as much of it up as possible. At the minute, all this grass is money for us in silage. In game time, I've already been doing this 40 minutes so far, so I can imagine this taking us a very long time. So there's a little bit more to grab over here, and then we need to follow whichever line they've decided to do, which I'm currently struggling to see. Right, I think that's the line we need to follow. Currently, I was a little way off. We're at 58% for that small section. But now we're following 2 of them in straight lines together. It is going up a lot quicker. Around the back of the field. So there's the silo we're going to empty into. There is an entrance there for it, so we don't have to go too far to empty at least. And then the plan will be let it ferment for 24 hours, and then we can take it to the biogas plant and sell it. And that will be a whole new task in itself, trying to load that up with what vehicles we currently have. We do currently have a bucket, and we have 2 vehicles that can hold, I think it's 5,000 litres per vehicle. So we should be able to get it there and then unload it. We can't afford to bail it or anything really, as that would cost us a lot more money. You can now see how big this field is. It goes a very long way, this field. But yeah, although we can't afford to bail it, this is our cheapest method while also earning ourselves some money. It's just very time consuming. That's the big issue. I should have given these to a bigger lead, as I'm already caught them straight back up. So they should be able to go a little bit faster. %75% full now, so we're getting there. Yeah, hopefully now you can see just how big this film actually is. So, not small. We do have to kind of come up with a plan of what we're going to do with this. We are thinking long term some animals in some of it, and we're talking about playing with plants and trees, but then you're looking at 3 to 5 years before you can make any money out of those. It's more of a long-term investment which we haven't really got the money to make long-term investments at this point. The other thing was we could create another smaller field or split it so we could actually plant crops in a part of it. That was another suggestion or another thought we had. So currently, yeah, we are thinking of these things to try and make ourselves money and make the farm more self-sustaining instead of relying on contracts, but it is what it is at the minute. One of the things we also did in the last month, we had a look around other avenues that we could use within the farm map itself. So we also found self-view barns, which is another small, like a satellite farm, but it has its own, I believe it's cow shed or pig shed, one of the two. And we were looking as an investment for us, instead of having pigs on our farm, we could have that as a satellite farm for ourselves and have some animals there. But it's 60 grand. Obviously at this point we can't afford that investment, and we also can't take any more money from the bank as we are maxed out our credit with the bank currently. But as a plan, a long-term plan, that is what we're thinking. Okay, so we're nearly full now, 99%, last little bit, and we are full. So we will pick up stopped. So we're going to cut back across the field now. Yeah, just how big this field actually is you can't really understand it from the side of the road or earlier on at the start of the field. And once you start going along it, you realise just how big it really is. So yeah, it might be a case of splitting some of it. Grass is okay at the minute. We can do things with it, but as a long-term plan, we probably will need to look at doing something else. So we've now got 23,000 litres on board. I'm going to head to the silage pit and dump it off. And that's took us in game time an hour, just over. So as you can imagine, this will take us quite a while, I would imagine. Okay. This is where you're going to see that I'm not brilliant at reversing. I keep getting told it's practice. Yeah, I knew I was going to mess up on the first go. I could, yeah, I can't drive it through really, can I? I'm going to have to reverse it in. Alright, I know that's probably really painful to watch me try and do. So I'm going to cheat slightly. While there's nothing in the silo, I can drive around the back and dump it that way. That's definitely where I need to practice a little bit more. This tractor's starting to struggle a little bit now though. Right, so now it's given us the option to unload. Or is it? It says fill level. Lower pickup. Why is it not giving us the option to unload it?
Left and right and triangle.
Oh yeah, unload here. So there we go. So it's a decent amount. It does fill it a fair amount. And we have emptied our trailer for the first load into our silo. Doesn't look very much, admittedly. Obviously it can be squashed down. It says we've got 22,888 in there. So we lost some by putting it in here, but it's okay. So what we'll do, we'll carry on with this. It's probably going to take us quite a while, probably the whole in-game day, I would have said. And we'll see you when we're finished. And we are done. Admittedly, we had some issues. We changed the plan a little bit. So the 4 ride-on lawnmowers, we ended up selling. It was taking far too long. So we sold them, which gave us just under 50 grand. And with that money, we bought a back-end mower part for the tractor, the cheapest one we could really buy. Just jump across and have a quick look. There we go, it's a bit muddy. And we bought another tractor. Same as before, apart from I had a weight on it, which would help with the chaff. We also did a few contracts in between doing this. But it is now, we started this at 8:10 this morning. It's now 20 to 7 in the evening. We have 132,682 litres of chaff. So we're just going to blanket it now. And then we have to give it 24 hours to ferment. Can't do anything like this, but it's spilling out here at the front. And in 24 hours, in theory, we can go and start delivering this to a biogas plant and hopefully make some money. Time will tell if it's much of a money maker. The problem we have got is some of the field that's already cut, we can't do anything. We've already sent back the loading wagon. Since we've finished, we can't put anything else in that silo. And that was £3,312 in total to lease it for the day. And we've still got some grass that's not cut. So something we've got to think about is we need a bigger silage pit. We need something bigger. We've done well for how much it can hold, but yeah, we need to think about this for next time, see where we go, I think. And maybe get a different plan. But hopefully we've made money today. We have on the contracts anyway. So hopefully next time we see you, we will be seeding. I think it's probably the next stage with the 2 fields we've ploughed. Hopefully the temperature should move up, and that's where we'll be. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.